You opened your resume last night and you started deleting. The color, gone. The two clean columns collapsed into one ugly strip. The little skill bars you spent an hour aligning, the header, the photo, the design, gone. You saved it as a flat Word file with no personality at all, because somewhere you read that a machine scans your resume before any human sees it, and the machine is picky, and the machine throws out anything it cannot read. So you stripped your resume down to feed the machine. There is no machine, not the one you are picturing. Not a robot reading your formatting and deciding your future in a tenth of a second. That thing does not exist. It never did. And the version of it living in your head was put there on purpose by people who make money every single time you panic. Here is the part that is going to sting. You have applied to dozens of jobs, maybe hundreds, and for most of them you got the same flat, automated rejection, or you got nothing. Silence. And in that silence, your brain built a villain, a piece of software, cold and literal, scanning your resume and tossing it in a digital bin because your font was wrong or you used a table. It is a comforting story, comforting because it means you did nothing wrong as a person. You only lost to a robot, a formatting accident, bad luck with a scanner. The truth is worse, and it is better at the same time. A human rejected you, or no human ever looked. Either way, the software did not decide. Someone did, or no one did. And once you know which of those happened to you, the whole game changes. Because you can do something about a human. You can do nothing about a ghost. The machine is real. It does not do what you think it does. So let me show you what it is, what it decides, who has been getting rich off your confusion, and what the people who land jobs at the biggest companies in the world are doing instead. By the end of this, you are going to want to undo everything you did to your resume last night. Start with the thing itself. The software is called an applicant tracking system. Strip away the intimidating name, and it is a database. A place to store applications so a recruiter does not lose them in an inbox. Picture the tool your own company uses to track projects or tickets or invoices. Same idea. Names go in, they get a status, they move down a pipeline, or they get marked closed. That is the job. It tracks, it files, it moves things along. And that single distinction, tracking versus judging, is the entire game. The system tracks applicants. It does not assess them. Assessing is a human act, and the companies know it, which is exactly why a real person is sitting at the other end of almost every application you have ever sent. So who is that person? Let me give her a name. Christine. Christine is a recruiter, and she is drowning. She has 9 roles open at once. Each one pulled in over 200 applicants in the first week. She has a hiring manager messaging her every hour about one of them, 3 interviews to run before lunch, and a system full of names she has not opened yet. Christine does not have time to be cruel to you. She barely has time to find you. A few years ago, someone surveyed recruiters and asked them a direct question. Does your software automatically reject candidates before you ever see their details? 83% said no. In plain words, more than 4 out of 5 said, we are the ones who choose who gets rejected, not the system. Us. Sit with that number for a second. 83%. In more than 4 out of 5 companies, your no came from a Christine, a tired human being scrolling a list, giving each name a few seconds, and making a call. You were not deleted by an algorithm with a grudge against your font. You were a name on a list that a stressed person worked through from the top. And somewhere on that list, for reasons that had nothing to do with your tables and columns, she stopped on someone else. Watch her do it. Christine opens your resume. Top of the page, a paragraph about being a passionate, results-driven professional seeking a challenging opportunity to grow. She has read that exact sentence 400 times this week. Her eyes are already sliding to the next name. 6 seconds, gone, and she learned nothing about whether you can do the job. Now picture the resume sitting right above yours in the stack. Same experience as you, roughly the same background, but the first line names the exact title of the role she is filling, and right under it sits one number. Cut onboarding time by 40% across 2 teams. She stops. She does not stop because that person is better than you. She stops because that person made the yes easy to find, and you made her dig for it. That is the whole contest. Not robot against human, findable against buried. Now take the other half of the fear. The formatting, the color and the columns, and the design you killed last night. That same survey asked recruiters one more thing. Does your system reject candidates for poor formatting, for hyperlinks, for graphs, for tables? 96% said no. 96. The work you stayed up doing last night, the deleting and the flattening and the saving as plain text, had almost nothing to do with anything. Let me kill the specific myths one at a time, because you have heard all of them. The machine cannot read color. False. It reads color fine. The machine cannot handle 2 columns. False. It pulls the text out and reads it regardless of layout because it reads the words off the page, no matter how you arranged them. Tables break it. False. Hyperlinks get you auto-rejected. False. You must only ever upload a Word file, never a PDF. False. Every one of those rules you have been following like scripture is describing technology from 30 years ago, dragged into the present by people who need you afraid. The systems companies run today read your resume the way you would read a page. They do not choke on a splash of blue. So when the software does reject you on its own, and sometimes it genuinely does, why does it happen? 2 reasons. Neither of them is your design. The first one, you walked right past. It is a single disqualifying question. Right at the start of the application, buried in those tedious form fields everybody rushes through to get to the upload button, there is usually one question that quietly ends the whole thing. Do you have the legal right to work in this country? What is your salary expectation? How many years of experience do you have in this specific tool? You type your answer in, you move on, you never think about it again. But that field is a hard gate. Put in a number outside the range they set. Say you need a sponsorship they cannot offer. Type a salary expectation $20,000 above their ceiling, and the system closes you out automatically, instantly, before Christine ever loads your name. That is the real auto-reject, not your resume. A box you filled in without reading, in the form, that told the system in plain structured data that you did not clear a hard line. You can have the most beautiful resume in the stack and still get knocked out in the first 30 seconds by one careless answer to one question you did not take seriously. And it is almost always the same handful of questions. The posting said 7+ years. The form asked how many years you have. You honestly typed 5 and the gate shut, or the salary field. They had a ceiling in mind they never published anywhere. You anchored yourself 25,000 above it without knowing, and you priced yourself out before a single human compared you to anyone. None of that is your resume failing. That is the form doing exactly what it was built to do, sorting people by hard lines, in seconds, using data you typed in with your own hands. The second reason is harder to hear. No one ever looked. The role got filled from the first 40 applicants. The closing date you respected, the one that said applications close Friday, the date you planned your whole week around so you could submit something perfect, that date was theater. They had 3 strong candidates by Tuesday. They were interviewing by Wednesday. By the time your flawless application landed on Friday afternoon, it dropped into a pile that no human will ever open. The system will eventually mark the role closed. You will get the automated note, and you will read that as rejection. It was not rejection, it was absence. You were early enough to apply and far too late to matter, and no scanner was involved in any of it. A human filled the job before your name ever surfaced, which means timing quietly beats formatting every single time. The candidate who applied on day 2 with a decent resume beat the candidate who applied on day 9 with a perfect one. Not because day 2 was the stronger person, because day 9 landed in a pile nobody opened. You have been grinding on the wrong variable. You obsessed over how your resume looked to a machine, when the thing that moved your odds was being in front of Christine while she was still looking at all. So now the real question. If the machine is only a database, if a human makes the call, if your formatting barely registers, then where did all this terror come from? Who taught you to be this scared of a database? Follow the money. The people who tell you the bots are merciless, that you need secret keywords and special tricks and a stripped-down format to slip past the scanner, are almost always the exact same people selling you the cure. The resume rewrite for a fee. The course on beating the system. The template they swear is engineered to be machine-readable. Watch the sequence. They build a monster in your mind with one article. They offer you a free guide that makes the monster bigger, and then they sell you the protection. The fear is not a side effect. The fear is the product. The robot is only the sales pitch that moves it, and the funnel is always the same 3 steps. Step 1. The post that scares you. 75% of resumes never reach a human, printed over a picture of a robot with no source you could ever check. Step 2. The free guide. The one that lists 9 formatting rules the bots supposedly enforce, which only makes the monster feel more real, more technical, more impossible to beat on your own. Step 3. The offer. For a few $100s, they will rewrite your resume to be, in their exact words, ATS optimized, and rescue you from a problem they invented in Step 1. You are not buying a better resume. You are buying relief from an anxiety they manufactured and sold you in the same breath. And here is the test that ends the entire argument. If your formatting could get you auto-rejected, the company would tell you. One sentence on the application page. We cannot read color or PDFs. Please upload plain text. It would take them 60 seconds to write it, and it would save them from losing good candidates to a technicality. They never write that sentence. Not because they are hiding it from you, because it is not true, and there is nothing to warn you about. Think about it from the company's side for 1 second. No business on earth is trying to lose the best person who applied. They are not engineering elaborate machines to reject talent they want to hire. They built these systems for one reason, and it is volume. 200 applicants for a single role is impossible to handle by hand. The software exists to help Christine survive that flood, not to keep you out of it. You were never the enemy of the system. You were one of 200 names it was holding on her behalf, hoping she would get to you before the role closed. You still do not fully believe me. That is fair. You have been told the opposite for years by people who sounded confident. So stop listening to me and look at the evidence instead. Go and look at the resumes that got people hired at the largest, most selective companies on the planet. The household names, the ones that pull 100,000 applications a year and run the most aggressive hiring software money can buy. If the robot myth were true, those would be the places where a designed resume is instant death. Those resumes are full of color, 2 and 3 columns, photos, rated skill bars, graphics. Every single element you were warned would get you deleted on site, and they did not get deleted. They got the person an interview, then an offer, at the exact companies where the myth says a beautiful resume is suicide. The recruiters inside those companies will tell you the same thing, quietly, in the moments when no one is selling a course. They accept your beautiful resume. They open it. They read it. There was never a machine standing between you and the job. And while you believe the myth, it cost you. Every resume you flattened into gray text was a resume that gave Christine nothing to stop on. Every hour you spent worrying about whether a table would break the scanner was an hour you did not spend reading the posting and learning what she wanted. The fear cost you more than time. It aimed you at the wrong problem entirely. You were polishing your resume for a reader that does not exist and starving the one who does. That is the real damage, not a single rejection, a whole job search pointed at a ghost. So here is what you do now, with the ghost gone. Stop building your resume for a machine that is not reading it. Build it for the only 2 things that are: a human and one narrow filter. The human is Christine, tired, scrolling 6 seconds per resume on a good day before she decides whether you are worth a real look. Everything you do is for her 6 seconds. That means the top third of your page has to carry the verdict, the role you are going for, the proof that you can do it, the 1 or 2 numbers that make her stop scrolling and lean in. She is not reading your life story top to bottom. She is hunting for a fast reason to say yes or a fast reason to say no. Hand her the yes in the first 6 seconds, or you are leaving the whole thing to luck. So build that top third like it is the only part she reads, because most days it is. 1 line that names the exact role you are going for. 1 line of summary that says what you do and who you do it for. Then 2 or 3 points that are not duties but results, each carrying a number she can picture in her head. Everything below that line exists to confirm the yes she already made at the top, not to earn it from scratch. If your strongest proof is buried in the 3rd bullet of your 2nd job on page 2, she will never reach it. She made the call on line 3. The narrow filter is the part of the system that does sometimes search for specific words. Not to reject you. To help Christine find you in a stack of 200 when her manager says, "Get me the people who have done this exact thing." And here is how you know when a company is leaning on that filter. They make you fill out the long application form, field by field, retyping everything that is already on your resume. That form is the filter. The resume underneath is still being read by the human. So you do one thing, and it is the opposite of what you did last night. You do not strip your design. You take the words the company used to describe the job, the real skills and tools and phrases sitting in the posting, and you weave them into your resume in plain, honest language. Not stuffed into a hidden white text block at the bottom, the way the tricks tell you. Woven into your summary, into your experience, written the way a real person would describe the work they did. Make it concrete. The posting asks for someone who can run stakeholder communication and manage cross-functional delivery. The lazy version, the one the tricks sell you, dumps those exact phrases into a gray block at the bottom of the page and prays the scanner counts them. Christine sees that block in half a second and reads it as exactly what it is, a person with nothing real to say, padding the page with keywords. The honest version takes the same words and puts them to work, led communication across 4 stakeholder teams to ship a delayed product on a new timeline. Same keywords. But now they are doing a job describing something you did, and they land on the human and the search at the same moment because you said a true thing in the company's own language. That is the entire move. Not hiding words from a robot, speaking plainly to a person in the exact terms they already told you they care about. And that is exactly where almost everyone falls apart. Because to use the company's words, you have to read the job posting, all of it, line by line, and the average person spends somewhere around 50 seconds skimming a job post before they hit apply, scanning for the title, the salary, and the location, and absorbing nothing else. That posting is not a wall of corporate filler. It is the answer key. The company is telling you, in order, exactly who they want, exactly what they are afraid of getting wrong, and exactly which words will make Christine stop on your name instead of the name above it. Most people read straight past it in 50 seconds. A few people decode it, and those few are the ones who get the interview while better qualified applicants get the silence. So go back to last night. The color you deleted, the columns you collapsed, the design you killed to feed a machine that was never even hungry. Put it back. Not because pretty wins, because the thing you were terrified of was a story sold to you by people who profit from your panic, and the only reader who ever mattered was a human being with 6 seconds and 200 names. You spent the night optimizing for a ghost while ignoring the one person holding your application. The robot was never the gatekeeper, it was the distraction. The real gate is the job post itself, sitting open in another tab right now, quietly telling you exactly what to write. In the next video, I am going to take a real one apart, line by line, and show you how to read it the way Christine wrote it, so the next time she scrolls that list of 200 names, the one she stops on is yours.